It was a cold, cold winter's night. In a cottage in the country, tucked away beneath the hills, a little boy lay sleeping. Snow began to fall, lightly at first, and then with giant flakes, which started to settle on the ground. At first light of morning, the little boy turned over, yawned, and sat up. He ran to the window and looked out. Everything was covered in snow. The garden, the fields, and the distant hills. He got dressed as fast as he could. When he was ready, he hurried down the stairs. At the back door, he put on his boots, his scarf, and his woolly hat and walked out into the snow. First of all, he thought, I'll make some giant footsteps. Above him was a branch of a tree. He jumped up and swung on it. The snow from the branch fell all over him. Then he made a snowball and threw it as hard as he possibly could. Straight into the kitchen window. "You do something else," said his mother. The little boy wandered off, wondering what to do. And it was at exactly this moment that he got the idea of building the snowman. He built a great column of snow the size of a man, and a great big snowball to go on top of it. Then he fetched a scarf and a hat, a tangerine for the nose, and coal for the eyes. At last, the snowman was finished, and the boy stepped back and looked at him. He seemed to be smiling. By this time, it was getting dark, and the little boy had to go indoors, leaving the snowman standing all alone out in the middle of the garden. Indoors, the family sat round a nice warm fire. Very soon, it was time to go up to bed. Up the stairs he went, into the bathroom to clean his teeth. Then hop, step and jump along the landing to his bedroom. Soon he was in bed and asleep. In the middle of the night, he woke, tiptoed to the window, and peered down at the snowman, shivering. He went back to bed, but then the clock woke him. This time he got up and tiptoed down the stairs, feeling rather cold. He looked out at the snowman through the glass panels of the front door. Suddenly, while the boy was looking at him, the snowman moved. Then he actually started to walk towards the boy. He stopped and raised his hat. Then he walked forward again, right up to the boy. And they shook hands. "Come in," said the boy. "I'd love to," said the snowman. Together they tiptoed into the living room. The snowman thought it was wonderful. He looked at the cat sleeping peacefully by the fire and wanted to stroke it. But when the cat saw the snowman, he was terrified and leapt into the air. The snowman jumped backwards and lurched into the Christmas tree, setting all the little bells ringing, the candles shaking, and the fairy wobbling. At last it settled down, and the boy plugged it in. The tree lit up with every colour you could think of. Blues and greens, reds and yellows, gold lights and silver lights. Then the snowman walked from the Christmas tree and sat himself down in a comfortable armchair. The boy turned on the television. There was nothing but fuzzy lines and zigzags, and it made the snowman dizzy. Then, with a start, the boy realized that the snowman was getting too near the fire. He realized that he might melt if he got too hot, so he pulled him out of the chair and hurried him out of the room to the kitchen, which was cold and dark. The boy reached for the light switch. The snowman was curious. He wanted to switch it on himself. The snowman plodded over to the kitchen sink, and the boy climbed up and turned on the cold tap. Then the hot one as well. A big cloud of steam rose up. Steam! It was too hot for the snowman, and he backed away. He saw a cake with a tiny model snowman on it. He picked it up and smiled at it. Then he took fruit from a bowl and tried on an orange for a nose. Then a pear, a banana, then a cherry, and then a huge pineapple. But his own tangerine fitted best, so he put it back on. He leaned down and opened the fridge, and a waft of cold air came out. The snowman loved it. For him, it was just like sunbathing. "Let's go upstairs," said the boy. Up they went and paused outside his parents' room. Someone was snoring. "Be very quiet," said the boy. "Shh." "Look, false teeth," whispered the boy. The snowman wanted to try them on. He put them on and walked to a mirror to see how they looked. It gave him a terrible fright. Next, he tried out some makeup and looked in the mirror again. He looked into the wardrobe and saw all the clothes hanging there and some hats. He tried one on. Then he tried on some trousers. But the braces caught over his nose. "Do be careful," said the boy. "We mustn't wake them. A perfume spray stood on the dressing table. The snowman squirted it. He liked that. He did it again. Suddenly, the perfume made him want to sneeze. He held his nose. He mustn't sneeze in the bedroom. The boy hurried him out of the room. And then he sneezed. In the boys' playroom was a music box. They wound it up and danced to it.